Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Well, Maryland, neighboring jurisdictions and environmental organizations reach a proposed settlement with the Environmental Protection Agency over a 2020 lawsuit regarding Pennsylvania. The suit accused the federal agency of failing to require the Keystone State to develop and implement Chesapeake Bay restoration goals. Now, Maryland and other jurisdictions are downstream of Pennsylvania waterways and collect much of the state's debris and trash, particularly during storms. This afternoon, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation held a virtual press conference to discuss the proposed settlement.
The Trump administration did not use its Clean Water Act tools to hold all partners accountable. By signing this agreement, the Biden administration has taken a big step forward in meeting that obligation.
Maryland cannot do it alone. The Bay is the largest estuary in the United States, and it receives 50% of its fresh water from the Susquehanna River. As the Susquehanna travels from New York through Pennsylvania, it brings with it pollution that impairs the health of the Bay. Marylanders deserve a clean, healthy Bay, and Marylanders have been doing the demanding work to curb pollution and restore the ecosystem. And I think we can all acknowledge that there's much more work to be done.
And the public will have 30 days to comment on the proposed settlement before it can be finalized. Well, do you need some help with your water bill? There is temporary assistance if you're a WSSC customer. Water commissioners have voted to approve a temporary water amnesty program. You could be eligible if you have a delinquent balance as of May 1st. In late March, nearly 87,000 customers had past due accounts totaling approximately $87 million. Now, under the amnesty, which runs through June, residents can have late payments and turnoff fees waived.
Customer pays 100% of their bill between June 1 and June 30th. They will waive all the late fees and turn-on fees, as well as receive a 10% credit. If a customer pays 50% of their bill, and then within the next 6 months finish paying up the other 50%, they will also get 100% of their late fees waived, and then receive a 5% credit on their bill. So it's a great program for people to take advantage of if they're behind on their bill.
And to learn more about WSSC's Get Current program and to sign up to be notified when it launches on June 1st, you can visit wsscwater.com/getcurrent. Well, a Maryland man faces jail time for his role in the January 6th insurrection. Christopher Alberts was convicted yesterday of 6 felonies, including civil disorder, assaulting an officer, and carrying a firearm on restricted grounds. Alberts will be sentenced in July. And authorities investigate a fatal motorcycle crash in Landover Hills. It occurred around 9 o'clock last night in the 6100 block of Annapolis Road. Officials say the victim was driving a motorcycle eastbound when he crashed into the back of a car. The victim has been identified as 26-year-old Josue Delgado of Hyattsville. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to contact police at 301-731-4422. Well, Maryland lawmakers passed more than 800 bills during the 2023 Maryland General Assembly session. According to a Baltimore Sun analysis, most of that legislation dealt with state government, taxes, or alcohol and cannabis issues. So which lawmakers sponsored the most bills, and do those measures bring home the bacon to their communities? Prince George's Senator Malcolm Augustine tops the list with 20 bills passing both chambers this session, many dealing with mental health. He says it was only possible because of a partnership with other lawmakers.
The very first pieces of legislation that we passed, 988, 3-digit number for people to call if they are in a behavioral health crisis or they have a family member that is in a behavioral health crisis. The legislation that we passed this year was to put additional funding into the trust fund that we created last year so that we have enough money to support the activities associated with 988.
And Governor Moore has already signed 93 of the 800-plus bills sent to him by the General Assembly. He will sign or veto bills through the end of May, and any legislation he declines to act on becomes law. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up, a salon for beautiful braids in Bowie. Producer Brianna Randall takes us there right after the break. Stay with us.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture, you can jump, yell, you can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected.
Welcome back. A transgender woman awaiting trial inside of a Baltimore men's jail files a federal lawsuit alleging she was sexually abused and harassed. According to the lawsuit, Chelsea Gilliam was sexually assaulted at knife point by another prisoner, subjected to frequent ridicule and denied hormone therapy, despite having received it for more than 15 years prior to incarceration. After the assault, corrections officials allegedly placed Gilliam in solitary confinement for months. Maryland lawmakers considered a bill during the recent legislative session that would have allowed transgender inmates to be housed according to their gender identity, but it failed to pass. A 28-year-old Tacoma Park man has been arrested in connection with a fatal shooting last Friday. Here is the suspect, 28-year-old Alex Quinteros. Now, investigators say he's the man who robbed and shot 24-year-old Rudy Perez Gutierrez of Hyattsville on April 14th. It happened in the 2100 block of Guilford Road in Hyattsville. Investigators say they found Gutierrez and another victim suffering from gunshot wounds. The second victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Quinteros faces murder charges. A controversial bill that quietly passed during the last day of the legislative session requires the Prince George's School Board to retain legal counsel to defend county board members. According to WJLA, some community members are outraged, saying they have serious objections over House Bill 1079. The measure requires the school system to pay nearly $150,000 in legal fees for former board chair Juanita Miller. Miller fought to stay on the board in spite of calls to step down after she was charged with misconduct and incompetence. Well, April is Second Chance Month, a month dedicated to spreading awareness on the many resources available to those who have re-entered society following incarceration. The Damascus House Restore program is throwing a spring social this Saturday to highlight persons in the program and to encourage others to utilize the resources.
Restore is a program that assists individuals returning home from incarceration within the last 12 months. Our program assists individuals with workforce development, intensive programming, and financial literacy so that we can give them the platform that they need to transition back into society successfully. And this month is Second Chance Month. So we are throwing an event this Saturday to encourage, show our support, empower, and allow our current residents understand how proud we are of them and their progression.
The event is this Saturday from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. It's being held at the Fresh Start Women's Shelter in Temple Hills. That address is 4818 St. Barnabas Road. Reach out to the email on your screen to RSVP. Well, she went from working out of her home to having 3 styling locations. Now, this braiding center in Bowie has gained a lot of buzz in the DMV after going viral on TikTok.
These braids only took an hour and a half to do.
A post that would go viral affect my life in a good way, but it stressed me a lot.
It's 11:40 and I'm on my way to the Bowie hour and a half TikTok African hair braider.
We started with less than 10 braiders after the COVID. After a year, I saw over 30 employees, and now we are over 60. I built this business in honesty and in love. I pray also that God always bring me good client, and hope that every single day I have less complaint. start from home. I start by braiding in all the shops. I learned the business, and I had my first child, and it was hard for me to drop her at the daycare and have to come back. I thought it was better for me to start building my own clientele at home. So growing up, I was aware that my father left me a responsibility. I have 5 younger sisters, and being raised, I have that knowledge that I have to make sure that I succeed so they can succeed too. So it has been a very large task, and for them, me was able to bring them here. It was a miracle. I can't explain to you how I got here. I'm really working on thinking of having a large space that I can call mine. What about buying a land and building a Canadian hair braiding 100-seat where I can have my client in the same room? Like a beautiful big hall, but it's a braiding shop. That's what I want. I want to have a space that I call mine, something that I can live for my kids.
And Nadine's is open 7 days a week from 4 a.m. to 5 p.m., including holidays. And coming up after the break, we have more. Stay tuned.
Hey there, sports fans, and coming up in a bit, the Orioles and Nationals face off in a battle of the Beltway. Commanders quarterback speaks on having a chance to start this upcoming season, and after having another unsuccessful season, the Wizards make some big changes. Don't move.
We all know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection. Want to get out of here? To empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out.
Let's go!
And help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
Hey everyone, it's time for your Thursday sports page. We'll start with the MLB. Game 2 of the Battle of the Beltway took place in DC last night as the Orioles and Nationals wrapped up their series. The Birds will take this game defeating the Nats 4-0. A nice highlight came from Orioles infielder Adam Frazier, who blasted a 2-run homer in the 4th inning. The Nats failed to score one in their 2 games against the Orioles. The Orioles' next game will be versus the Detroit Tigers tomorrow at 7:05, and the Nats' next matchup will be tomorrow as well against the Minnesota Twins at 8:10. Moving on to the NFL, a new era may be beginning for the Commanders as quarterback Sam Howell will have an opportunity to start next season. Howell only played in 1 game last season, completing 11 of his 19 passes for 169 yards and a touchdown versus the Dallas Cowboys. Howell says that he's ready to give the team everything he's got this year.
I just want to, come in here and work every single day and try to do everything I can to help this team win football games. This organization is going to get everything I got, but I'm just going to give this opportunity everything I have. Obviously I had that 1 year under my belt, and it was kind of a wild year, a lot of ups and downs, and I learned so much from Taylor, from Carson. So it's I just feel a lot better coming in this year knowing I learned a lot last year. And I know a lot of stuff now that I didn't know then. So I'm excited going into year 2.
Hopefully Howell's play can lead to a successful season for the Commanders. And finally, the Wizards are making some big front office changes as they have fired general manager Tommy Shepard. Under Shepard, the Wizards have a record of 129 and 179 and missed the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 seasons. And that is your Thursday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And that is CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.